What's up everyone, I'm CrossFit Steve, and today we're diving into XReal 2. This game is back with more guns, more missions, and a ton of new features. If you've ever played Call of Duty campaign and loved it, then this game might be worth checking out. Just to give a little heads up, I'm playing on the MetaQuest 3 and using the Vega Prism XR earbuds for better immersion. The game kicks off with a tutorial that, as far as I could tell, isn't skippable, and honestly that's a good thing. Even if you're familiar with the first game, the sequel introduces a lot of new features. Unlike some tutorials that feel like a chore, this one was actually pretty fun. There was coffee and water in the tutorial, which I couldn't quite figure out how to use, or even if it mattered, but hey, it's there and maybe its use will become clear later in the game. The game mechanics are introduced early on, and while customizing attachments wasn't super clear at the first, I'll dig into that a little bit later. It's a nice touch how the tutorial smoothly transitions right into a mission, so there's no downtime between learning and putting your new skills into action. Alright, let's talk about the guns. In my opinion, they're freaking amazing. They're realistic enough to keep the immersion high, but reloading isn't so precise that it takes you out of the action. Like, you don't have to be spot on when you're reloading, which is a lifesaver when you're in the middle of a battle. And along the way, I was able to pick up some skins that looked fantastic. I can't wait to dive deeper into the campaign to find the rest of them. The addition of RPGs and under-the-barrel grenade launchers is a game changer, extremely fun and a very solid upgrade. However, I'm not a huge fan of the current system for swapping out attachments. Changing scopes was easy enough, which you just knock off the one you have with the new one. But removing the other attachments altogether, that's where it gets a little tricky. You have to hold the gun at the right angle, sideways, it's like not even all the way sideways, to remove them, which isn't really intuitive or easy to get the angle right. I'll explore this more as I play, and I'll give a full breakdown in my full review later on. When it comes to the physics, I'm impressed. You don't have to get right up on the items to pick them up. You just kind of reach out and a yellow line shows you what you're grabbing, and then you click the button and it just levitates to where your hand is. And then you can put the items in their respective places. Like your ammo will go on your belt, and your grenades, radios, meds, stuff like that will go on your chest. It's a good system, similar to what we get to see in Contractor Showdown if you played that. It makes a game like this more accessible for both hardcore and casual players. If you look on your left wrist, you'll notice a watch-like device with a hub that shows your health and your ammo levels. One of the biggest improvements from the first game is the overall comfort. I remember playing the original Zero Caliber, and after a mission or two, I'd be sweating and feeling nauseous. I'd have to take off my headset, and I'd have to wait a few hours to even get back into the game. So whatever the devs have done, it's working. I don't have to mess with any comfort settings, but for those who need it, the options are there. It's clear that they've made the game more accessible to all VR players. Visually, Zero Caliber 2 is a mixed bag. The guns and armor on the NPCs look great, no complaints there. But when it comes to the environment, like trees, buildings, and the vehicles, the textures aren't as detailed. Personally though, I'm fine with the trade-off. I'd rather have high quality visuals on the stuff that I interact with the most, like weapons and characters. But again, I am also playing on the MetaQuest 3 standalone, so the PCVR version may have better graphics, but we will have to wait for that to be released. The sound design in this game, in my opinion, is on point. I could pinpoint every explosion and gunshot, which is something that a lot of VR military sims struggle with. Spatial audio is a hard thing to nail, especially in VR, but so far, they've got it down. I am using my Vega Prism XR earbuds, which are built for VR, so that might be helping, but even without them, I think the sound would still be solid. I am going to test this out without any earbuds, just with my MetaQuest 3, before I release my full review. If you played the first Zero Caliber, then you already know the deal. You have a headquarters where you can jump into the campaign, solo or co-op with some friends. I haven't tried the co-op yet, but the missions look varied, with a good mix of wide open battles and close quarter combat. I counted 12 missions in total, and who knows, maybe we'll get some DLC down the road. The headquarters is exactly what you would expect from a secret ops base. And there's even a computer where you can choose mods. There are already some fan-made missions and PvP maps available, which is a pleasant surprise to see early on. I haven't got to try the mods, but I will try some before I release the full review. Overall, my first impressions of Zero Caliber 2 are pretty positive. The game has improved in a lot of areas, but there are still some quirks, and I'll be keeping an eye on those. I'll dive deeper into everything for my full review, so stay tuned. If you've enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below of anything in particular that you would like to see in the full review, and maybe some other games that you'd like to see impressions or reviews on. Keep it crockin'.